The film starts off with a fairy tale setting, introducing a young girl named Ella. Ella's mother is actually a fairy. Along with Ella's mother, her aunt used to live there as well. Ella's mother and her aunt were both fairies. Here we are also informed about the giant fairy, and when she finds out that a fairy has a daughter, Ella, she comes to give her a magic gift. But there was a flaw about that big fairy. She always used to do something wrong while doing magic. And now when Ella's mother and her aunt find out that the big fairy is coming, they both hide Ella from the big fairy. But still, they can't save Ella from that big fairy. And as soon as she comes home, she takes Ella. And when that big fairy starts giving Ella a gift, that girl, Ella, starts crying loudly. And now seeing this, that big fairy gets very upset. That's why she performs her magic and makes Ella quiet. With her magic, Ella suddenly becomes quiet and goes to sleep. Seeing this, that big fairy gives Ella this gift that Ella will always obey others. Hearing this, Ella's mother and her aunt get angry with that big fairy and say that it is not a good gift to always obey people. Hearing this, that big fairy says that now I have given this gift, so that's why I can't take it back now. After saying this, that big fairy leaves from there. And now this blessing means that with this gift, Ella has to spend her life. And as soon as this happens, Ella grows up. But because of this gift, her difficulties also start increasing. And even though she doesn't want to, she has to do all the things told by others, whether they are good or bad. After some time, we see that Ella's mother's health has deteriorated a lot. Ella's mother lies on the bed and is taking her last breaths. But before dying, she says to Ella that my daughter, don't tell anyone about this blessing, that is, this gift. Otherwise, people can misuse it. And yes, any blessing, gift or curse cannot be greater than a person. That's why don't trust these things as much as you do in yourself. And always listen to your heart, because only it can help you in taking the right decision and can show you the right way. And any curse cannot change your life as long as you don't want it. While talking, Ella's mother gives her a locket, and after this, she dies. After a few years, Ella grows up. But her lands go to the King E's occupation because of some rule. Because of this, Ella's father, in order to save his house, marries a rich woman to avoid these circumstances. After marriage, she comes to stay at their house with her two daughters. But it is obvious that Ella's stepmother did not like her. And moreover, Ella's stepsisters also trouble Ella all the time. Ella's sister says to Ella in anger that I like your necklace very much. I want to take this, so you give it to me. Even though she doesn't want it, because of that gift, Ella listens to her and gives her the necklace. Moreover, her stepsisters also say that we like your room too. Give us this too. And this time too, Ella does the same. She gives them her room. And she herself comes to the lower part of the house with all her stuff. Even though she doesn't want it, because of that gift, she has to listen to everything. After a few days, Ella's father goes for some work. The scene shifts and goes to the prince of this kingdom, who is going somewhere with his uncle. Actually, the prince's parents, that is, had died a long time ago. And after that, the prince's uncle was taking care of the whole kingdom. But he was not a good king. Because he was very dishonest. He used to take over people's land, and he used to earn money through those lands. But the prince does not know anything about this. And very soon, the prince was going to be king. One day, Ella comes to the market with her friend. The prince also comes here to give his speech. All the girls used to like all the prince in this city. They were crazy about him. And Ella's stepsisters also come here to see the prince. But Ella was not like all these girls at all. And because of their land's loss, she gets very angry at the prince. That's why Ella and her friend are shouting slogans against the prince. And when the prince sees this, he does not feel bad. But as soon as he sees Ella, he starts liking her. He starts getting attracted to her. That in this crowd, today she is the first girl who is not after me like crazy. Like other girls. And she is talking with a clear mind. But when Ella's stepsister sees this, she gets very angry at Ella and tells her to go home. And that's why Ella has to listen to her. That's why she starts going home. After the speech is over, the prince also starts going home. But all the girls who were crazy about him break the stage and start going towards the prince. Seeing the girls coming towards him, the prince runs away from there towards the jungle, while all the girls were still following him. Now Ella is also going through the jungle, but while going, the prince accidentally hit Ella. But before Ella makes a noise, the prince puts his hand on her face, and they both hide in one place, after which the group of girls goes to the other side. Now because of this, Ella gets very angry, and she starts going from there. But the prince does not know why Ella is so angry. That's why the prince tries to ask Ella again and again that what is the matter with Ella? Tell me, why are you so angry? But Ella does not answer any of his questions and ignores him. Then seeing this, the prince tells Ella to stop there. And now because of that gift, Ella stops there, listening to the prince. But then we see that a carriage is coming from the front, and it was now moving towards Ella. Now because of that gift or that curse, Ella was not able to move her step from there. But before that carriage hits Ella, and now seeing this, the prince comes towards Ella quickly, and he grabs Ella and comes to the side. In this way, Ella's life is saved. As soon as the carriage leaves, the two of them get up. But before Ella says anything, her two step-sisters come there. Here Ella's elder sister tells her to go home with her younger sister, and after sending them, she herself tries to talk to the prince. But the prince, who was not interested in talking to her, that's why he ignores her and runs away from there. Now here, Ella's elder sister also feels something strange, that although Ella is my stepsister, but still, why is she agreeing to everything I say? Now taking advantage of this, Ella's sister tells her to steal shoes from a shop one day. Now although Ella first refuses a lot, but as soon as her sister says that Ella steals shoes, then Ella listens to her, and she steals those shoes and keeps them with her. Now by doing this, the two sisters make Ella steal a lot, but a soldier sees Ella stealing. That's why he goes to catch Ella. Then to save his life, Ella runs a lot from there, but Ella could not escape for a long time, and the police catch her. By handcuffing her, the police take her to jail, and now Ella's stepsister knew this. Because of this, Ella agrees to everything she says. Ella's stepmother later brings her out of jail, and when Ella is at home, she scolds her a lot. But instead of telling the truth, Ella's stepsister deliberately says in her ear, "That Ella, say that your friend told you to steal these shoes. That is your best friend." Now although Ella did not want to say this, but still she takes the name of her friend, because she always had to listen to others. And then when Ella's best friend comes to her house to meet her, then Ella's mother forces Ella to break her friendship with her. And now even though Ella does not want to, she breaks her friend's heart and says that now our friendship cannot remain. You can go from here. Because of losing her best friend, Ella becomes very sad. But then Ella's aunt comes there, and she says to Ella that my child, listen to me. You have to somehow find that big fairy, so that she can break the debt that you have received in the form of a gift. Hearing this, Ella is sad and says to her, where is that big fairy in this whole world? I do not even know this. And how will I find her? Hearing this, Ella's aunt brings her a book and shows her. Then seeing this, Ella asks her what kind of book is this? Ella's aunt starts telling her that actually a few years ago I was doing a magic on my friend, but because of misusing the magic, my friend has now become a book. With the help of this book, you can find out where the big fairy is. After this, Ella's aunt's friend, that is that book, also searches, where is that big fairy at this time? Then she finds out that the big fairy is actually at a valley named Giant Valley. Now on the same day, Ella leaves that house with the help of her aunt. But to find the big fairy, she also keeps that book with her. Actually, that book worked just like a map, and that book could tell us where the people of the world are at this time. And following this, Ella is going on the right path. But when Ella is passing through the jungle, she hears someone screaming. This voice is actually of an elf. Actually, he was tied up by people and those people were bothering him. So coming there, Ella starts getting angry at them and says that why have you tied him up? Leave him, free him. So those boys make fun of Ella and say to her, look, this girl is going to break our legs. But because of that gift, Ella really does this here. And one by one, starts breaking everyone's legs. She beats them a lot and frees that elf. Now here that elf starts telling his story. He tells that people in the world know the elf in such a way that the elf entertains people. And the elves can only sing and dance. But actually, I wanted to become a lawyer. But the problem is that only humans can become lawyers in this kingdom. He says that I am very upset about this, and very soon I will talk to the prince about this. Here, Ella also tells him about herself and says that I am also going to Giant Valley, and I am going there to find something for some purpose. Hearing this, the elf says to her, but you cannot go there alone because there can be danger there, and if you want, you can take me with you. And after that, they both start moving forward together. First of all, the elf takes Ella to his village. And here they both have dinner at night. After that, we see the scene of the kingdom there, where the prince was going to become a king very soon. That's why the invitation to his crowning ceremony is given to the whole city. And on the same day, the prince is also going to get married. In which he was going to choose a girl from the whole city. Now the invitation card that came to Ella's house, it was actually for Ella. And when Ella's aunt is looking at that card, then suddenly, Ella's stepmother comes there. And after snatching the letter, she decides to go to the party with herself and her daughters. There at night, Ella and the elves are resting. But then the prince's soldiers come here, and they are forcibly taking many elves to the palace. Because there was going to be a party there very soon. But Ella and the elves hide there at the same time. Then after the soldiers leave, they both move ahead. Now when those people are passing through the jungle, then some strange people surround them here. And these people were quite big in size. These people catch Ella and the elf. They hang them both. And were just going to cook them and eat. But then the prince and some of his soldiers come there. The prince comes here and fights with these strange people, which saves Ella and the elf's life. Actually, these strange people are the same people who killed the prince's parents many years ago. Now the prince was very angry with these people, but despite this, he does not kill these people. In fact, he gives them a last chance to improve and tells them to go from there. Now seeing this, Ella is quite surprised. After this, the prince asks Ella, "What are you doing here? Are you going somewhere? And if you are going, then where?" Then Ella tells him that actually I am going to find my fairy godmother, which is in a valley. And the name of that valley is Giant Valley. Hearing this, the prince tells Ella that I also want to go to Giant Valley with you to help you. Now, although Ella does not want to take the prince with her, but at the behest of the elf, Ella has to listen to the prince, where the prince goes with his soldiers to leave them at Giant Valley, where all these people travel together. Now seeing the opportunity on the way, the elf tells the prince, "I want to tell you something. Actually, I want to be a lawyer, not like the other elves, an entertainer. But because of some role, only humans can become lawyers." Then the prince, unaware of this, tells the elf, "I can't do anything about it, because all these matters are seen by my uncle. And when I become a king, I will see what to do." Now hearing this answer from the prince, Ella explains to him that you are not an ordinary person. You are a prince. You can also bring change. And from now on, you should listen to people's problems. You should solve them. And now the prince likes this very much. After some time, the three of them reach their destination by completing their journey. That is, in Giant Valley. We see the giants here, which were quite big in size. But despite this, the king's soldiers were beating them and making them work. Now after reaching here, Ella finds out that the big fairy is not here. Now because Ella did not find the big fairy here, she starts going from here. But this time there was a function going on here in Giant Valley. That's why the prince had to stay here tonight. That's why the prince requests Ella a lot here. Please, it's just a matter of one day. Let's stay here today. We will go tomorrow. Now because of the princess saying so, Ella has to stay here even if she does not want to. Here the king and prince of the giants are talking to each other, and all the problems that happen here, they solve them. Seeing this, Ella starts believing the prince again. Here they are enjoying this function a lot. And now here Ella also likes the prince. That's why the two of them are dancing here. Ella tells the prince here that I have been looking for my godmother, that is, the big fairy, for a long time. And while looking for her, I came here. Hearing this, the prince tells her that I can help you. Actually, all the people in my kingdom have been and from in the there record. We can get the address of the big fairy's house. And now hearing this, Ella is very happy. And then the next morning, these people leave to return to their kingdom. After coming here, the prince brings Ella to his palace. Here at this time, Ella's stepmother and her stepsisters are also in the palace. Here the prince brings Ella to the room where all the people had records. After coming here, Ella starts trying to find out about the big fairy. So before trying, the prince comes to meet his uncle and tells him that I like Ella a lot and I will marry her. But the prince's uncle is not very happy to hear this, because he himself wanted to become the king of this kingdom. That is, he always wanted to keep his control. And this was the reason that he was not happy with the prince's marriage. So for this purpose, to remove Ella from his path, he calls his two stepsisters to meet him. Here the prince's uncle makes a deal with Ella's elder sister, that I will get you married to the prince. But before that, you both have to remove Ella from my path. Then hearing this, Ella's elder sister says that this is because a very Ella easy has some kind of magic on her, because of which whatever you say to her, she will listen to everything. Hearing this, the prince's uncle goes to the room where Ella was. Coming here, he tells Ella that when the prince will propose to you for marriage, then you will have to kill the prince with this knife. Saying this, he also gives Ella a knife. And now even though she does not want this knife, she keeps it with her. Because of that, she will obey his order. But when Ella starts going from there, the prince's uncle tells her that listen to me. You will not tell anyone about this. That means you will keep this a secret. And now because of this, she is not able to tell anyone about this. Now because she did not want to kill the prince with her own hands. That's why she goes far away from the palace. And she gets herself tied to a tree outside the city by an elf. After this, she tells the elf that you go to your village and bring all their elves and giants to this kingdom, so that they can all together stop the prince's uncle. Now where Ella is tied, it starts getting dark as soon as she sees here. Because of this curse, she was slowly pulling towards the palace. But to break this curse, she is praying in her heart that I wish I get that big fairy once. That is my godmother. But then we see that her prayer is fulfilled here. That is, suddenly that big fairy comes here, which actually wanted to go somewhere else. But by mistake she came here. Seeing the big fairy here, Ella is very happy and tells her that you are actually my fairy godmother. But by mistake, you gave me a curse by thinking it as a gift. Now despite this, that big fairy does not take that curse back from her and says that she does not take it back by giving any gift Although Ella also tries to make her understand a lot. But by ignoring Ella's words, she does her magic on her and frees her from the chains. After this, she dresses up Ella very well, by which Ella looks very beautiful here. After doing this, that big fairy forcibly sends Ella to the palace, by which Ella has to come to the palace even if she does not want to. And here the prince is very happy to find Ella in front of him. And he is going to take her to a very beautiful place and propose. But according to the order of the prince's uncle, Ella takes out her knife to kill the prince. But Ella was trying to stop herself by killing the prince here. But then she remembers her mother's last words here, which she had told Ella before dying that no curse can be greater than a human, and always listen to your heart, because only the heart can show you the right way. And now Ella drops the knife on the ground. But with the help of the mirror, the prince sees the knife in his hand. That's why he starts misunderstanding Ella. That's why he calls his soldiers and locks up Ella. There the elf enters the palace with his elf companions and giants, as Ella had told him to do. After coming here, He also releases Ella from the prison. With the help of that book, Ella sees the prince's uncle putting poison in the crown, so that as soon as the prince wears this poison
he gets
crown,
paralyzed.
Seeing this, Ella comes to the place to save the prince,
where the coronation was going to take place.
Here she screams and tells everyone the truth about the prince's uncle.
That what kind of person
he is a disgusting
but
person. As soon as the prince's uncle Snake is about to kill the prince, but then Ella kills him with her feet and throws him away. Now seeing this, the prince's uncle gets very angry. He tells all his truth here. That I have killed everyone and I have taken over people's land because I myself wanted to become the king of this kingdom.
As soon as he says this,
he himself wears the crown in which he had put poison. Now as soon as he does this, he himself gets paralyzed. And as soon as he sees, he dies. All this is also seen by Ella's stepsister.
Here Ella's elder sister tries to order her again.
Then seeing this, Ella says to him laughing that nothing like this will happen
I am
now.
not going to listen to you,
because I have broken that curse myself. In the next scene, we see that Ella and the prince get married.
Showing their marriage, this movie ends here.